Hello YouTube, it's Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield here from Transport Evolved with another thought or ponderance on the latest in the world of cleaner, greener, safer and smarter transportation. And today we're going to be talking about the Honda Clarity EV and rumours that it may only have an 80-mile range despite a $35,000 price tag when it finally goes on sale as a 2018 model year car. But first, I just want to respond to some comments from yesterday. Yes, I know everyone expects me to be in a studio. When they say studio, they mean the 10 studio. And while I would love to do that every single day, setting that all up takes quite a lot of time. Additionally, editing all of that footage together, because the studio isn't real, also takes a lot of time. So while I will take that in advisement and try and do some more real studio stuff, I might not be able to do it all the time because for those who don't know, I work from home. And my studio is actually my living room. Anyway, on to today's topic of discussion, namely that the Honda Clarity EV, the all-electric version of Honda's hydrogen fuel cell sedan, might only have a range of 80 miles per charge. At least that's according to Automotive News, which cites sources within Honda that say that the all-electric sibling to the Clarity fuel cell sedan will have a range of just 80 miles per charge and come with a price tag of $35,000. I'm sorry, Honda. 2011 called. They want their car back. There was a time 5, 6, 7 years ago when that kind of price point for an 80-mile EV was considered normal. But now we've got the Chevrolet Bolt EV, which is available for not a lot more, and we've got the upcoming Tesla Model 3, which also is promising 200 plus miles of range, just like the Chevrolet Bolt EV. And to be honest, it's very disappointing to see Honda behave like this. But I've got to be honest, it's not really that surprising. If you know anything at all about Honda's love-hate relationship with electric vehicles, you'll know that Honda produced limited numbers of the Fit EV as a compliance car for certain key markets in the US, namely California, and it produced just enough to satisfy the zero-emission vehicle mandate. When it had produced enough vehicles to satisfy the mandate, it stopped making them. And demand was so stupidly high that there was a massively long wait list for that car. In fact, demand was so high that Honda started to sell used Honda Fit EVs as if they were brand new cars. And by that I mean offering the same kind of lease deals and purchase packages that you would normally only get with a brand new car. So what's Honda's beef? Well, Honda is in love with the hydrogen fuel cell sedan, and it's put a lot of money and time into developing hydrogen fuel cell stack technology. You only have to look back at Honda's hydrogen fuel cell history to know that it was developing hydrogen fuel cell prototypes back when the EV1 was crushed. In fact, as a point of note, Honda's EV Plus, which was its all-electric vehicle produced around the same time as the EV1 and Toyota RAV4 EV, was taken back and crushed. But some of those vehicles survived, and Honda used the same glider chassis to develop a hydrogen fuel cell prototype. Look it up in the history books. You'll see it. It's there. And since then, of course, we've seen various versions of its FCX Clarity prototype fuel cell vehicle, released in very small numbers to very exclusive customers in Los Angeles and the San Francisco Bay Area. And its production Clarity fuel cell sedan is kind of the next step on Honda's goal to become world leader in hydrogen fuel cell technology. Now, it wasn't that long ago that we thought that Clarity was only going to be offered as a hydrogen fuel cell sedan. And it's only been in recent years that we've even discussed the possibility that Honda would make a plug-in hybrid variant and an all-electric variant of the Clarity. The reason, as we supposed at the time, was to help Honda gain market share in areas where hydrogen fueling infrastructure was still in its infancy, if not even in an embryonic stage. In fact, if you want to drive a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle in the US, there are only a handful of places where it's even practical, namely Los Angeles in California, San Francisco in California, and a few select locations in and around Washington, D.C. For Honda to develop a vehicle that's only available in 3 markets, maybe 4, it's not going to make a whole lot of money, and the hydrogen fuel cell technology is at the moment a loss leader. So it made sense for Honda to develop a plug-in hybrid and an all-electric variant of the Clarity in order to help it gain a bit of market share and brand recognition outside of markets where hydrogen fuel was not available. But to put an 80-mile EV range in an electric version of the Clarity does suggest that Honda's heart really isn't in electric vehicles. To be honest, 80 miles of EV range would be a nice-to-have range for a plug-in hybrid variant of the Clarity, working alongside a small 3 or 4-cylinder petrol engine to give super high fuel economy. And after all, Honda's hybrid drivetrain technology goes back a really long way. But no, 80 miles, at least according to this report, is the range of Honda's Clarity EV. So who's going to buy this 80-mile, $35,000 EV from Honda? If the reports, of course, are true. Well, honestly, I don't think anybody is. Honda might be able to shift some to its loyal customers who only ever buy a Honda. It might also be able to shift some to fleets in California or other key market areas where zero-emission vehicle mandates are in effect. But it's not going to appeal to a mainstream buyer, especially when cars like the Tesla Model 3, Chevrolet Bolt EV, and upcoming next-generation Nissan Leaf are going to be available, offering twice, maybe 2.5 times the range for a similar price. If you ask me, this Clarity EV does sound rather like a token electric vehicle, more focused on helping Honda meet its zero-emission mandates than anything else. After all, if Honda can make and sell really limited numbers of this vehicle, it will ensure that it can then go ahead and sell plenty of internal combustion engine vehicles and won't have to worry about buying any credits from Tesla or other companies with excess credits to spare. In short, it's a compliance car, and that's really disappointing, because if the Honda Fit EV is anything to go by, Honda really does know how to make a good electric vehicle. The Honda Fit EV is one of the most enjoyable, limited production compliance cars out there. In conclusion, I hope that this piece of news is incorrect. It's not unheard of for such reports to be erroneous, and if this range does pertain to a plug-in hybrid version of the Clarity rather than an all-electric version, it wouldn't be too bad at all. In fact, as far as plug-in hybrids go, it'd be pretty good. But I also know that Honda is really out of touch with what buyers want when it comes to electric vehicles. It's illustrated this several times in the past, claiming that nobody wants to drive an electric vehicle, claiming that its Honda Fit EV was not going to sell, and that's before we even talk about Honda's continual prattling on about how electric vehicles are impractical, difficult to refuel, and nobody wants to drive. Sounds a little bit like those hydrogen fuel cell sedans that you can't even own unless you happen to live in a handful of cities across the US. Is this news about the Honda Clarity EV accurate? Do you believe this rumor about the Honda Clarity EV? Do you think it's talking about the plug-in hybrid instead? Or do you think that Honda really is that out of touch with customers' needs and wants to think that it could sell an 80-mile electric vehicle as a 2018 model year car with a $35,000 price tag? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be back tomorrow with more content from the world of cleaner, greener, safer, and smarter transportation. In the meantime, if you liked what you saw today, please consider keeping us independent and impartial by making a donation to our Patreon crowdfunding campaign. There's a link in the end of this video, as well as in the description below, and it would be really good if you could help push those final $40 or so to help us hit $1,300 per month in donations. Just because the more money we bring in, the more stuff I can do. We can buy new camera equipment, and frankly, those medical bills I've been getting from my family member recently have been pretty darned high. So anything you can do will be greatly appreciated. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Nikki Gordon Bloomfield, and keep evolving.